Okay, so for today's showcase, we got some exciting things, I think. Usually we talk about assets, and of course, this time, as you can see very clearly on the screen, we are talking about assets as well, new assets in particular. These came out probably 2 or 3 days ago, but I was on not really vacation. I was seeing my sister off to college, or getting ready to, I guess. So I was out of state. But anyway, I really was excited to show these off, really excited to get home and put them in the game and everything and put them to use, and I'll explain what these are in a second. But I just want to let you guys know what I'm going to be talking about in the showcase. As per usual, I'm going to kind of summarize everything at first and try to give you guys a good idea of what you can expect. And of course, if you're not interested in one thing, you can exit during that time or whatever else. Not one to make people feel trapped. So first thing, as you can see, is going to be title screens. So this isn't even really the part that I am really excited to show, because this isn't particularly different from the alternative, or what we had previously. So what I want to show is going to take me reloading, but I'm just using this as a waiting screen for right now. After that, I'm going to talk about the wiki, because the wiki is what I would call ready to go. I've done a couple more example pages just to show you guys, and to use as examples and editing bases for Zikri, who's going to be helping me out a lot with the wiki and maintaining it, as well as any of the other lore writers like Comfy, who want to start making out, or not making out, but start churning out pages. So that's going to be pretty important. The wiki is coming along great. I haven't had any problems with it so far. There's only one thing: I had to disable the default admin account, but that's also not really that big a deal, because of course you can't delete the files permanently from the server. That way they have backups and everything, so nothing too dangerous there anyway. Regardless, that's pretty cool. Pretty excited about that, and I want to show you guys these default pages, or not default pages, but example pages, and so on, just because I think it's kind of cool. I know I said I wouldn't have an entirely wiki-focused showcase, and I'm not. This is just a kind of minor thing, I think. But finally, what I want to talk about after all of that is a new schedule for showcases, and I don't want you guys to freak out about that, because I do really enjoy doing it this way. However, I feel like for you guys it might be a little bit better to do it on a kind of weekly schedule, maybe, or maybe a bi-weekly schedule, as in 2 per week. Because as of right now, I notice some of the showcases kind of get a low amount of views, which is okay. I'm completely fine with that, and like I've said a couple times now, we definitely have showcases where we have a ton of new assets and a ton of new stuff, and then other showcases where it's very boring and kind of not too much. So that's less of a bad thing, I guess, like wanting to do a weekly showcase instead, and more of a kind of, I'm realizing that we're not really collecting all of the content, so we'll have one showcase with a ton of stuff in it, and then another showcase with, like, some code stuff that people don't particularly care about, which is totally cool and fine. I totally get that. It's just something I was worried, or not worried about, but concerned about. So I was thinking of doing a patron vote, and basically the different options, I'll go over them more in detail after the videos close to the end. But basically, we're going to be choosing between something like kind of a weekly, like 20 to 30 minute showcase, which might be a little bit overwhelming, so I can see why people wouldn't want to, as opposed to a bi-weekly showcase. So every 3 or 4 days, we'd have a showcase of about the same length as these, but more feature-packed. So I'd try actively to focus less on talking and explaining things, and more on just showing off what we've done in those 3 or 4 days. So it'd be more kind of action-packed, I guess, and more of a showcase rather than me explaining my feelings and so on and so forth about certain stuff, which I'm sure some people enjoy, maybe, but regardless, that's the idea. And then the whole idea with this is not to just cut back on how much I'm putting out, because I still want to put out the same amount, if not more even. My idea is that if I do this either weekly or bi-weekly, I'm hoping for bi-weekly. I don't really like the idea of weekly, just because I feel like no one's going to watch a 25 to 30 minute video, and it's a little bit too much in one video anyway, so I think bi-weekly is probably what we'll end up going with. Anyway, they'll probably be 15 to 20 minutes instead of the current like 10 to 15 minutes. But my idea, my goal, is to have other focuses for different showcases. So we can have 2 feature showcases a week, and then maybe sprinkle in, like I've said a couple times before, a wiki showcase, or some other thing like the lore showcases or something like that. So we can show off new stuff we've been doing there and new stuff we've been doing with maybe rechanging or changing up the rules or changing up the Discord server, just showing off all this different cool stuff that not just me but other people in the community have been doing. I think that'd be very fun, and especially maybe we could even have other people on to talk about it as well and talk about what they're excited to do and etc. I think that'd be super cool, frankly. So I know I'm kind of getting off topic. It's already 5 minutes in, and you guys want to see the other stuff, but I'm just saying that's my whole idea with that, and I'm going to go ahead and shut up now so I can show you this. I know it's been kind of boring so far. So I'm going to quickly reload this, and this is very primitive so far. I kind of threw this together because I was very excited when I got home probably a couple hours ago. As you can see, it shakes, sends these little crystal shards everywhere, and it blinks, flashes, and it shatters completely. And then as soon as it shatters, it shows the different title, the vortex, and then the stars start spilling out of it. So this can't be cancelled yet, but you'll be able to cancel this just by clicking or hitting spacebar or whatever. Basically any key will cancel it, because of course you don't want to sit through that animation every time, which is totally understandable, and it doesn't interfere with logging in at all anyway, so even if you don't cancel it, you'll be able to log in regardless. A couple things with this: I've completely changed how it works performance-wise, so it should be way more performant now. We've actually gone up in the number of these stars that spawn. Previously it was around 150, I think, and now it's at 250, or 200 to 250, it's randomly decided. Previously, this was operating in a very strange way, so I redid that because it was long overdue, and now we're operating, as you can see, it's 60 FPS with all of this stuff going on in the background. And of course, if I reload again, you'll probably take note that these individual crystal shards that kind of pop up when it shakes are their own thing as well, and they all spawn at the same time, and we aren't seeing an FPS drop at all. We might see a little bit of one, yeah, right here. So it drops by about 5 FPS, which is, manageable. I think that I can definitely improve on that. But for right now, I think it's fine. For spawning probably upwards of 300 to 400 interface elements all at the same time, and then immediately starting all of their threads for movement and everything, I think that's actually pretty good. 5 FPS drop is not that bad. So that's cool, in my opinion. And it's not anything huge, but I felt like it was worth mentioning regardless. I'm actually, if I switch back again or reboot real quick, you'll notice that it doesn't actually change at all here. So when it's crumbling or whatever, it doesn't change the appearance of this title screen, which I thought we could improve on. So in the future, I'm actually going to make that, or get Hal to do a sort of crumbled version of the crystal version, and then it'll finally shatter to reveal this kind of marbled, kind of stony, crumbling title. So we're going to have a couple different versions of that, so it'll crumble over time and visually kind of fall apart, and we're also going to change I'm going to change a bunch of stuff with it to look better. It's just something that takes a lot of fine-tuning. This kind of animation-related stuff for me with code takes a lot of fine-tuning, as most any kind of artwork does, if you can call this artwork. I also want to get this vortex redone from Hal. I think Hal is a really good artist. I'm really happy with what he did with these titles. This is my favorite, I think, out of the two. I finally decided, but I wanted to include both of them, so that's my idea, or as you can obviously tell. And the vortex, I think, is a little bit outdated, so I want to have that redone. Might even have these little space objects redone, but regardless, that's that. I won't log in right now because I want to show off the wiki stuff, and we're already 8 minutes in because I can't stop running my mouth. But I assure you, it works fine and everything. I'm just not going to waste any time with that. Going to quickly swap over here. Okay, there we go. Unfortunately, it is going to kind of clip the side, but just trust me that exists. There is a side to the screen. Reason just because the base resolution of the Bylasta game is actually lower than the base resolution of my monitor, so it's pretty simple, I guess. Anyway, so this is the Void Crisis page. This is actually one of the main page links, so if I go back to the main page, and this will be changed as well. I want to change this icon, which I actually just remembered just now. My internet might be crying a little bit, unfortunately, but anyway, doesn't really matter that much because I already have these pages loaded. Essentially, this is one of the pages that the main page references down here. So the Void Crisis is actually the first one. So this isn't really set in stone, and I'm sure that my lawyer writers are going to beat me for a couple of things here. I invite them to. I invite them to correct me and stuff, and if they're wrong, I'll correct them. That's how it works. It's revision and revisions, of course. But anyway, this is just an example regardless. I want you guys to understand what I'm looking for with wiki pages, and this isn't a perfect example because I would like an image or something over here or over here, but basically I want these informative little summaries of lore events, basically, and we're gonna fit them. And I want to basically stick every lore writer and Zikri and so on these pages down here. So all of these pages over here, I will probably handle these pages just because they're very technical stuff, like the rules. We have to go over those, which we have a couple times now. So those have been deliberated on, blah blah blah. Leveling system I'll show you in a second. Ask questions and report bugs, that'll come later. Spells and talents, crafting recipes, harvesting, all of this stuff takes a really technical understanding of the game, and obviously I'm the only person with that kind of understanding right now. Oh, I just realized that you guys can't even see. I'm so sorry. Okay, does that fix it? Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Let me see if I can fit this better. Okay. So it does kind of squish down here, but you guys can see what I mean. So I apologize about that. I didn't realize that it wouldn't scroll over when I scrolled on the main page. But anyway, these pages here are going to take a more technical understanding of the game, and I'm not saying that it's impossible for anyone else to understand the game technically. It's just that no one else has played the game enough to understand the game technically, and there's no actual balance. So I'll go through here and do my best to fill out these pages because they're mechanical and everything, like I said, and no one else is going to know the recipes and everything. For the most part, I'm sure someone has had like a recipe approved or pre-approved or something, but these will be filled out, like I said, by the lore writers or by me, alternatively, or by whoever, one of the admins. And of course, we're going to revise these to hell and back because I want them to be perfect. And over here, these are again probably going to be more focused on me filling these out. So I'm going to be working a little bit on this, and then mostly on this, and down here. If you had any concerns about the rules whatsoever, rest assured that we've probably worked them out. We even added a few gameplay mechanics just to make sure that the rules are suiting and that we don't have issues with them. But I think that should work out. It should be pretty good. I'm hoping, anyway. So yeah, and I can go ahead and show you guys these. If you guys want to pause and read these, I'm not going to read them out for you. This is the stat point page, so this is another example. These pages are meant to be a little bit more friendly sounding, so I've done the titles and questions here. I believe, yeah, in the Void Crisis page, though, this is supposed to be informative, so these aren't in question format. So that's kind of the format that I want to encourage and enforce on the wiki. If something's meant to be kind of friendly and well stated and everything, it'll be here, or it'll be in that format. And then if it's meant to be sort of informative and historical, then it'll be in this format instead. Leveling system is the same way. So leveling system is probably for a newbie because they haven't played the game very much, obviously, or maybe someone coming back to reference it if they've been playing for a while. So this goes over. I'll let you pause here, of course, if you feel like reading it. Anyway, it goes over basically everything, and this is again another example of what I want to expect from these. So it explains the entire process in somewhat technical detail. It explains the details like what it takes to get a check, how many checks you can get a day, which is of course unlimited, how much experience goes into a check, how often you get experience, and then of course the reason for these question type titles for these is because people are going to come in with questions, and if their question is, well, why can't I level up anymore, then you just go down to this one and you check here. And of course the bolded text could probably be spread out a little bit more, but still, that's the idea. I encourage my lore writers and everything to get that, to understand that. I think it's pretty simple, pretty basic, hopefully. But yeah, so I think that's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that, and I hope you guys are as well. Now, I am going to go on to describe to you guys my idea for the new showcase system. You guys are free to leave if you don't care, or if you're not a patron that cares, or whatever else. It doesn't matter to me. I do want to communicate with you guys on it, though. Basically, I'm probably throwing up a patron vote in a couple minutes to an hour-ish, once I get some other stuff done. What I want to hear from you guys is your opinion on that. So I know a lot of you guys watch videos, a lot of you guys watch that kind of stuff, and I want to hear from you guys what you think would be most entertaining and what would catch your eye the most. I know a lot of people recently have said that they stopped watching the showcases, and they still completely support the game, and that's totally okay. Like I've said in a number of different showcases, that's totally fine. You don't need to keep up on every single showcase. However, I understand kind of why, and like I think that people feel a little bit guilty for skipping 2 or 3 showcases, but at the same time, they're coming out literally every other day, and I mean, I don't think that it's even that stressful on me. I really do enjoy talking about Verdict. I really enjoy talking about the mechanics I've implemented and the code and everything. I think that's very fun. However, I think that we could split it up a little bit better. Rather than showing off maybe 2 new assets and make like a feature or something in a showcase every other day, we could probably just show off, 7, 8 new assets if we have them, or 7, 8 new features instead of just me talking about 2 or 3, and then in a separate kind of video I could talk about the mechanics of those, the specifics of those, and I could just record myself doing that instead. And if we have anything new with the wiki, I can maybe get in a call with some people, talk about that, and we can upload that as well. So that's what I'm thinking for that, and my idea right now is for a bi-weekly showcase, so 2 per week. Those would probably be on like Monday and Friday, maybe Monday and Saturday, that kind of thing. Maybe I would probably Monday, Thursday, Friday, I guess. Thursday or Friday. But whatever the case, that's something that we'll decide in the future. Right now, I'm just kind of spitballing, and I want to hear your guys' opinion. Like, do you think that it's too much right now? Do you think that it would get worse if we didn't have as many? Do you think that it would get better if we didn't have, or if we, yeah, didn't have as many? Anything really. And if you guys are kind of disappointed with the quality of the videos or something, of course we can always go back to this system. So all of it's completely open. I again love doing it this way. I would love doing it that way as well, because it opens up other opportunities. Even if I don't really get to sit down and talk for 20 minutes about the specifics of my philosophy about stat points and the leveling system of verdict, I will get to talk about the same amount of stuff, if not more. So that's just my opinion. That's what I'm thinking right now. If you guys have an equally strong opinion, feel free to share it with me. I'll be interested to hear it. And if you're a patron, feel free to vote. That should be going up sometime soon. And let me know what you guys think. So, yeah, not an end of an era. It's more of the start of one, if you will. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys look forward to the next one, whenever that is. I hope you guys look forward to a different system or the same system, whatever you prefer. And I hope you guys look forward to a completed wiki. So, yeah, have a good day.